Welcome back to Midcap Radar. Onto a corporate conversation now, and Datamatics Global Services is the company in focus. They recently acquired Dextara Digital, which is a Salesforce service provider, for 143 crore rupees. To discuss the business opportunities for this acquisition and more, we are being joined by Rahul Kanodia, who is the Vice Chairman and CEO of Datamatics. Mr. Kanodia, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Can you tell us more about this acquisition that you have made? What are the margins of the acquired company that you have done? And is it going to be an EBITDA and EPS accretive acquisition right from the onset?
No, absolutely. So we acquired it because of our focus on the hyperscalers. We've been talking about it for a while. We've been looking at some companies. So this is very much in line with our strategy. Their EBITDA is at about 19%. So they have a very healthy EBITDA and a very healthy growth rate. So from day one, we'll have an accretive EBITDA as well as revenue in terms of a growth.
And how much would that be, Mr. Kanodia? If you can give us a sense of how much of an accretion are you seeing? What kind of synergies will this mean? And will it give you more access to newer markets or newer segments?
More than newer markets and newer segments, it will allow us to cross-sell their credentials into our customer base, which is very important. Also, our scale allows them to sign many larger deals, which today, because of the size, they are not able to do. In terms of digital technologies, the EBITDA accretion will be about 0.9% and on revenue about 9.7%. On an overall Datamatics level, though, it will be small because this is a very small company. So on an overall basis, the revenue will be about 4% and EBITDA impact will be about 0.2%. If I prorate this number for the last 9 months of last year. Right.
Mr. Kanodia, can you quantify the number, the incremental revenue contribution? You mentioned it around 4% is the figure that you gave to the overall number. But is there a number that you can give, since the company itself has a 60 crore revenue? So how much would that add to your own top line?
Yeah, so $7.2 million is their revenue for estimated for this year. So that's really what it will add to the top line. And on the EBITDA level, they are at about 19% EBITDA. So you're talking about 700K.
Okay, all right. Now let's talk about the cash in your books. 595 crores as of December. How much of this will be used for this acquisition? What will you be left with? Is there any other acquisition which is on the cards which we could see in this calendar year itself?
So the impact is we are paying out about 143 crores upfront, and then there is an earnout over the next 2 years. So it's all from internal accruals. The impact on Datamatics will be nothing. We are not levered at all. In terms of additional acquisitions, we are talking to a few companies. But as you know, we've been very selective with the companies we acquire. So we will continue to be selective and do a detailed due diligence. But yeah, we are in dialogue with some other companies as well.
Do we hear an announcement anytime soon, Mr. Kanodia?
Nothing on the cards that's going to happen immediately.
All right. I had to ask you about the business as well, Mr. Kanodia. In the December quarter, the growth slowed down. Both revenues were down, both sequentially as well as on a year-on-year basis. You also attributed in the earnings call that there has been a delay in certain projects. Has that persisted in the March quarter as well? Have all those projects that were facing delays, have they resumed? And have there been any cancellations as well?
So we announced a cancellation. We cancelled the deal because of the payment terms, and we've announced that to the stock exchange. Outside of that, in terms of the quarter's performance, really, right now, because we are in the silent period, I don't think I would be able to talk too much. But we had projected a 11 to 12% growth over Q3 of last year, and we will stay with that.
Okay. I would like to come back to the acquisition. You have to pay the additional 30.6 crores based on milestones. Can you give us a sense of when do these payouts happen?
They happen in 12 months from now and 24 months from now. So next 2 years. There are milestones, there are targets that are set, and basis that achievement, they will be paid out.
Okay, so it'll be after 2 years that you'll start making the payments, these milestone payments, or by the second year you'll complete all these milestone payments?
That is correct. The first one will be after 12 months. The second one will be after 24 months, which will be the completion of the deal.
Okay.
Your third quarter deal pipeline, Mr. Kanodia, was around $245 million. It was around $290 million in the second quarter. What's the run rate we are going with right now? And is there a number that you have in mind for FY25 as well?
No, so that number remains steady. And as I said, because of the quarter ending we will talk about this once the board meeting is over and we have our investor call. That's when we'll talk more about these. But it remains steady.
Okay. All right. So I know you did indicate that you're in the silent period and you cannot give us more details. But generally, because we've been getting a lot of commentary, what is FY25 looking like in general? Not quantitatively, but qualitatively, if you can give us a sense of, is the pipeline strong and what is demand at the end user level in different sectors?
Sure. So generally, it looks healthier than the last year. So we are not really looking at sectors, but by and large, the sectors are looking good for us. We are not so heavily dependent on the banking sector, which is having a struggle, and many companies are feeling the pressure in the banking sector. And because Datamatics is not heavy on that segment, we don't see that impacting our performance next year.
Not asking you for an exact number, Mr. Kanodia, but margins have slowed down to 14%. Do we see that number going back to 20, 18, 19, 20 as we go into FY25?
Yeah, as I said in last investor call in Q3, we had talked about an improvement in margins, and we will certainly see that improvement in the next year.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kanodia. The stock is high by 2% of the day's high. So we'll see which way things go in Q4. But you did indicate that FY25 is turning out to be better than FY24. We are in FY25 now. Oh my God. Okay. I was not very sure if I'm saying the right thing, but yes.
We are into FY25. Yes, indeed. And the stock is reacting to the management commentary. It's now recovering a bit. It's seen a bit of a spike in the last few minutes. So Datamatics, they're 2% higher at 590. FY25 is looking better. We aren't truly into FY25 now. But before we slip into a short break, here's something you must not miss out on CNBC TV18, and it is presenting India Exchange, where market experts and industry stalwarts will collaborate in insightful discussions on India's economic path and the evolving dynamics of the Indian market. Mapping the macros with City India economists Samir and Chakrabarti, catch a jugalbandi between market veterans Manish Chokhani and Ramdev Agrawal, the return of the animal spirit within India Inc. in a conversation with V. Vaidyanathan of IDFC First Bank, Keki Mistry and Manish Kejriwal of Kedara Capital, and chasing alpha with market experts like Nilesh Shah of Kotak, Prashant Khemka of White Oak Capital, and Anish Stockley of ICICI Prudential. Don't miss out on this one. Tune in to CNBC TV18 on the 4th of April, 5:30 p.m. onwards.